If I stopped doing it tomorrow, everybody would complain, but nobody watches them. Due to several emails sent from different classes, I have decided to create a new bonus question for your test. It's supposed to be sorry. Yes, this material has already been covered during the first week of class. I believe I covered it the second day of class when we actually, you remember me pulling up a test?
Mm-hmm.
And I showed y'all and I told y'all that if you ever have a question that is like half, is everybody listening?
Yes,
I hope
sir.
everybody's listening. Where one half is the answer, but you put 0.5 and the directions do not specify whether it's a fraction or a decimal, then you have grounds for a challenge. And if you challenge a question, you should see me after class. I covered that. All right? 3 is not the answer. Okay? 3 only does what?
Angry.
Makes you mad.
Makes me angry, yes. All right? Especially when the third one says, hello.
Hello.
No, hello with 3 question marks. Not hello, exclamation mark. That's really annoying. Okay? So, please make a note about this. So if you have a question, the proper thing to do is to say, Hubert, can I see you after class when I'm finishing up class? And that's called interaction.
Oh my God.
And that's, you have to do that in life, even though you want to, some of y'all don't want to do it. Okay, does anybody have a question over this now?
Nope.
Okay, if you have ever got a question about your homework or your test or anything like that, and you've already exhausted the other attempts, okay? You've had 3 attempts and you've got a 68, a 72, and an 88, and that 88 has 1 on it that you need, then, tell me that you want to see me after class and I'll stay online and we'll look at it. I'll pull it up right here on the screen and we'll look at it. That's the easiest way to take care of things. The reason I don't like for you to send me a voicemail or an email or even a text, even though I like text better than email, is because I'm going to forget it. All right? I've got 4 or 5 other classes, and I've got 5 other classes interacting with me. So, it's easy to forget. So that's why I want to go over it with you after class. And I'm not just talking about this class. The email, the 3 emails, that came from a college algebra class that I'm teaching. So it doesn't have anything to do with this class. All right? So anyway, that's that. That's going to be a new one, probably on your next test, probably on your unit 2.5 test or whatever unit this is called, because this is broken up into 2 units. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the next section of whatever we're going over. Is it chapter 4? I broke it up into 2 sections, right?
Yep.
So, I got here late this morning, so y'all have to excuse me. But it doesn't matter. The Anderson campus gets here about 9:30, so they'll get here eventually. And the Anderson campus and the Easley campus is still open for the 109 or 130 if some of y'all still want to get in. Good morning. Glad you finally decided to make it. The other ones, I guess it's raining. I forgot. We're in South Carolina. It's raining.
Oh, yeah.
Bread and milk. Wonder how many calls the front desk got this morning about classes being canceled. Y'all think I'm kidding? What section were we going into? 4.2?
I don't think so.
Let's see what it says. I think that's what we're going. Wasn't it a composition of functions?
Yeah, we just finished with symmetry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and look at this slide. And I'm going to go over to the office next door and get some paper. Oh, heck, I got to fix this. Why can't they just... Hold on a second. Oh, I hate this. Primary. There. And current slide. At least I figured out how to do it. Because I've had training. We won't discuss that. Okay, y'all should be able to see that now, right? I hope.
Yes.
Okay, write these down, and I'm going over to the next room and get some paper.
You have a pen in there?
Oh, you suck. Hey, oh. Here, loser. Good God, can't even bring a dadgum pencil to school.
I had my notebook though.
She's probably the one that wrote me 3 emails. No, I'm just kidding.
At least I showed up.
Yeah, at least you showed up. But you need to get bread and milk after you leave. All right. So, now this section is going to be quick also. Why is it going to be quick? Because you already know how to do all this stuff. You learned it back in pre-algebra, as I told you yesterday, or whatever day y'all came. Y'all was here last. Let me turn on my handy dandy. Oh my Lord. You just have a day to where you can't get anything to work right.
Every day.
Every day. Good gracious, y'all. Y'all need some Code Red or some Mountain Dew or something.
I need psychology.
Is that what you need?
Decline.
Well, you got
I
a
need to
group
go,
every
like,
Tuesday
a
night. You got a group
psychologist.
tonight, don't you?
No, that was last night, but it didn't work. I just went home and drank some more.
Oh, you did? Well, we all do that.
A whole pint
Okay.
of Fireball was put down.
Fireball, I got sick off of that stuff one time. All right.
That's Uncle Sam.
Me too.
That's the problem with Fireball. You can get sick off of it real quick.
But that girl
Went
comment,
to the south and
Ron
Fireball.
Oil Green Apple, don't get sick off of that.
Okay. Now, there's my dang old hand. All right. So in pre-algebra, you learned how to take x plus 2 and add it to x minus 3. You were told that there was a 1 in front of it, and you were told to distribute that 1 or whatever number's in front of it because you got to get rid of the parentheses. And then you've got x plus 2 plus x minus 3. And then you were told to combine like terms at 1x plus 1x is 2x, and then 2 minus 3 is negative 1. And that was called adding terms. Then you were taught to subtract terms, and you were taught to be very careful. 2 times x minus 3, and then I'm going to put the minus in pink or magenta, minus 3 times x plus 1. and you were told to distribute that 2, and you were told to distribute that -3, and you were subtracting. And you distributed, and that would give you 2x minus 6 minus 3x minus 3. And then you were told to combine like terms. 2x minus 3x is -1x. -3 minus 3 is -9. And you were told to do that. Then you were told to multiply x plus 3 times x minus 2. And you were told to multiply, or however you want to put it. And you were told to use the FOIL method, or in certain cases shortcuts, to where you could do it quicker. So first, outer, inner, and last. And then the middle two, 90% of the time, would combine. X squared plus x minus 6. And you were told to multiply. All right? You were told to do all these things in pre-algebra. You were also told to divide and factor. You were told that x squared divided by x, or minus x over x, is equal to x minus 1, because you subtracted exponents. You were also told to factor, which is division. X squared minus x, and you were told to factor out a common term, which is division. X times x minus 1. Okay? You were told how to divide. And you were told how to substitute. Substitute. Y is equal to 2x plus 3, and 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. And you were told to take that 2y, or this right here, and plug it in for y, and you would get 3x plus 2 times 2x plus 3 is equal to 6, and 3x plus 4x plus 6 is equal to 6, and x is equal to 0. Okay? So you were taught all these things in pre-algebra, and this probably in Algebra 1, and this probably in Algebra 1. And you were just told how to do it. Okay? No fancy schmancy or anything. But then you got on up into Algebra 2 and Algebra 3 and pre-cal, and then you were told that since you were going up in math, you have to be more sophisticated. So you have to write a function as f of x instead of y. Don't use y anymore. That's too redneck. So you have to use f of x. And then instead of doing, graphing and putting an x and a y here, you can't do that anymore because that's too redneck. You got to put x and you got to put f of x. So you were told, you're not doing anything different. You're just changing the way you're doing it, okay, to look fancy. So now you got this to add. You're going to have f of x is equal to x plus 2. G of x is equal to x minus 3. And I really would like you to give me f plus g of x.
Are we supposed to talk like this when we do it?
Yeah, you're supposed to. All right.
Did you hold your
Now-
pinky up? Because I don't think you did.
Oh, I'm sorry. You already heard me talk about the pinky, right?
Yeah. See,
All
that
right.
see, now I feel more educated.
Somebody
Thank you.
tell me what f plus g of x is. It's what you got back in pre-algebra. Nothing different. 2x minus 1. So all of this stuff you learned back in pre-algebra is basically being sophisticated is being raised to a certain level of sophistication in college algebra. So you have to follow the etiquette of proper algebra. Subtraction. F of x is equal to 2 times x minus 3. G of x is equal to 3 times x plus 1. And I would like you to give me f minus g of x. And that is basically what you got in pre-algebra, which is negative x minus 9. Why do you not have to do anything different? Because there is nothing different. You do it the same way. Multiplication, same thing. Instead of the way that it's written back in Algebra 1 and pre-algebra, you're going to have f of x is equal to x plus 3. G of x is equal to x minus 2. And then they want to f dot g of x. And that's equal to what you got previously, which is x squared plus x minus 6, which you got right here. So that's multiplication. And division, f of x is equal to x squared minus x. G of x is equal to x. And I would like f divided by g of x. And that is whatever I said it was right here, x minus 1. And that is division. They spend a whole section teaching you all this stuff. Now, out of all the stuff with the f of x and g of x and all that, the only one that causes problems is this one. Okay? This is your obstacle with composite functions, because this causes people to have conniptions. All right? And the way they and what causes it is because the way they write it. They're going to write f of x is equal to 2x plus 3. And g of x is equal to, and I'm not going to have that right there in this. I'm going to just put 3x plus 2y. And they want f composed g of x. Fog. This is an open circle, but I tell students just think of it as fog. Now, whatever is right here, you're going to rewrite with a big set of parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite this term right here with a big set of parentheses. 2 parentheses plus 3. 2x plus 3. And this means that I'm going to take this and do what? Substitute. Okay, now this is not the same, but the methodology is the same. In other words, the actual substitution that you did back in Algebra 1, it's the same. You're going to take this and plug it in for that. So even though it's not exactly the same, the mechanics behind it is the same. And you get f composed of g of x is equal to, and that's going to be 6x plus 4y plus 3. So my whole point of this is to show you that you shouldn't get any of these problems wrong because you know how to do them. Now, what if I gave you G composed of F? God. Well, I'm going to rewrite G with a big set of what?
Parentheses.
Set of parentheses. So 3 parentheses X plus 2Y.
Well, that's not hard at all.
I know. Are you being sarcastic or what?
No, I mean, it now it makes sense.
Okay, now it makes sense. And then take the 2x plus 3 and plug that in. Now, these are going to be written a little bit different. You're usually not going to see a y in the function. Usually you're not going to see that because you're going to plug this in for whatever variable you have. Okay? I'm just trying to make the transition from this to this. The substitution part is what you need to see. And that's going to come out to be 6x plus 9 plus 2y. 6x plus 9 plus 2y. What is it? Y'all talking about me?
No, we're talking about the other Polycom class.
Oh, God. Oh, me.
We're both in it.
The one that lost her mind.
She's lost her mind again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Far from it.
Oh, I heard yesterday the Polycom wasn't working here at the Anderson campus.
It wasn't.
Oh, my gosh. What happened?
I was like,
She don't.
you might get a new job. Yeah, I think it's time to get a new job.
She take care of Anderson, but
She
that's
just
about
said,
it.
she said, camera no work, that's their fault. I'm going on. And she just went on. They don't care.
You need to remember that in your evaluation. I can't stand teachers like that don't care, if that's true.
You should go read her, what's that website, Red Mountain Professor?
Right, my professor.
Come on.
I bet there's one on there that says, I bet there's one on there that says she's lost her mind.
Probably. If not, there's going to be one.
Gosh darn it. Frank carries them.
All right. So, now we've talked about this before, and I told you what a function was before. What is a function? It's like an ice machine, right? F of x is equal to, here's your ice machine, 2x plus 3. Okay? That's your ice machine, and of course, that'll spit out basically your output. Remember us talking about putting Kool-Aid in the ice machine? Did we talk about that in here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the same thing. Here is your input, which is also called, what's that D word?
Domain.
Domain. Good job for the one person that actually listened. Okay, this is the function. This is your ice machine. This is what crunches the numbers, just like making the ice. And then the output is usually your y, but you can't use y anymore because that's redneck. So you use f of x, which is your R word.
Range.
Good job. That's it. Now, there's a question that I use in my algebra class a lot, and we did one in here. I think it was the building. You throw something off of a building. Okay? I can't remember, but there's a question in one of the books, and you might see it as a standardized test question, but this is I don't want to do that. That's not right. That's too big. There's a stump right here, and there's a frog right here, and the frog jumps, blah, 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 and it gives a parametric equation, f of x. I'm just going to make up something, okay? Y'all got that? I'm going to make up something. Negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. Okay? So the first thing you do is you kind of draw a kind of a cross or whatever you call it. I can't remember graph. There you go. Okay, you draw a graph, and of course
rough.
I know. Be quiet. Medication. It hadn't kicked in yet. All right, and you know the frog is sitting at what?
3.
3 feet. But you want to find his highest point. Well, what's his highest point called?
Vertex.
Vertex.
And then what do you use to find the vertex? Completing the what?
Square.
But that's not
Calculator.
where students have the problem. The students have the problem when the question asks this. What is f of 4? And what is f of x is equal to 6?
I think so. I can't see it all the way.
Is that plus 3, Mr. Hubert?
There you go.
Thank you.
You have glasses also, and you sit in the back of the room.
These are reading glasses.
Okay.
I can't
My
help
cousin
it.
Biddy, right? All right. There we go. No, not f of x is equal to 6. F of x is equal to 2. All right, these are the two questions, A and B, that students screw up on. But if I was to take these two questions and write them the redneck way, what would you do?
Plug and chug.
Plug and chug. You see why students miss these type problems. They miss these type problems because they're not used to the way it's written. All right? What does this say? This says x is equal to what? 4. That's what that says. This says y is equal to what?
2.
And you know with a parabolic function that they may be not one y but
2.
2 y's. Now he's sitting, so the y that you get right here is not essential, okay? Because it's unreal. You can't jump into the stump unless it's hollow, and then the directions would say if a hollow stump, but it doesn't work, okay? So this one is out. But that's what happens. So you plug in 4 for what? X. And you get 4 squared is what? 16. So that's negative 16 minus what? 8?
Plus 3.
Plus 3. And that doesn't look right.
It's positive 16.
Yeah, positive 16. Thank you. Positive 16 minus 8 is what? 8 plus 3 is 5.
11. Oh. There you go.
So you know at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, you know that that point is at 3, 4, 5. It's at 5. Okay? Now, this one right here says what is when y is 2. So you got to plug in y is 2, but you're going to have to use completing the square to figure that out. Okay? And set equal to 0. So you can do completing the square twice, and we can do that. So first of all, let's find the vertex. So 0, negative x squared minus 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. And this is going to find our x-intercepts. Okay? Because we're plugging in 0 for y. So negative x squared minus 2x plus blank equals negative 3 plus blank. Negative 1, that'd be x squared plus 2x plus blank is equal to negative 3 plus negative 1 times blank. Half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So that's negative 1, x plus 1, quantity squared is equal to negative 3 minus 1 is negative what? 4. And our vertex is what? Our vertex is negative 1 and what? Positive 4.
Yes.
Okay, so that's wrong. Can't be negative 1, positive 4. Well, I remember I made this problem up, so chances are it's not. Anyway, just write down what it is, okay? Now, I want to find the x-intercepts, divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. X plus 1 is equal to negative, or positive what, 4?
4.
And that's positive or negative. Oh, I got to put the square right there. There we go. And that'd be positive negative 2. And then x is equal to 2 minus 1 is 1. And negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So there's your two x-intercepts. They will ask for that too. This is where the frog hits the what?
Ground.
Hits the ground. Now, will he hit the ground at negative 3? No, because he's not jumping in that direction. Duh. All right? He's going to hit the ground at 1. Now, why is it not 1 here? It looks like 6 because I made this up. That's why. Okay, that's why the picture doesn't match. I'm just showing you the methodology behind finding these. And this is a test question that you would see on a standardized test, whether it be a GRE or whatever you're going for. And of course, if you wanted to find where y is equal to 2, then you would go 2 is equal to negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. You're setting y equal to what? 2. And you're going to find your x's where y is equal to 2. So negative x squared minus 2x plus 3 is equal to 2. And take that 3 over. That's negative x squared minus 2x plus blank is equal to 2 minus 3 plus blank. And of course you need to reduce 2 minus 3, that's negative 1. And then negative, in parentheses, x squared plus 2x plus blank is equal to 2 minus 3 plus negative 1 times blank. And that's going to give us negative 2, 1, and a 1 there. That's going to be x plus 1 quantity squared is equal to 2 minus 3 is what? Negative 1. Negative 1 plus a negative 1 is what?
Negative 1.
It'd be negative 2, right? So negative x plus 1 quantity squared is equal to negative 2. Y'all check me on that. Should be, yeah. And then divide by, I'm not worried about the vertex here because you already found the vertex. This is finding where y is equal to 2. So it's going to be negative, that'd be 2. So x plus 1 quantity squared is equal to 2. And take the square root of both sides. That's x plus 1 is equal to positive or negative 1.41. And then minus 1. And 1.41 minus 1 is 0.41. And of course, negative 1.41, that's going to be negative 2.41. But why am I not interested in that one? Because the frog's not jumping to the left. Exactly. So 0.41, at 0.41, y is equal to 2. Okay, again, it's not graphically correct because I just made this up. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're given a problem like this, you know how to do it. All you have to do is put it in context. You've got to remember that when they're asking you for f of 4, they're really asking you plug in x and tell me what y is. If they ask you that f of x is equal to a number, they're asking you to tell you what the x is for that y. So again, 90% of you know how to do this. It's just the 10% they get kind of wishy-washy with the way that they write the stuff. Okay? So that's what composition of functions are. Okay? It's a fancy way of writing the stuff that you've been doing for the last 4 years. Pretty much. Hold your pinky up when you do it. Because that's basically what you're doing. See? All right. Now, I don't know what this is going to entail, but I've already covered that. I've already covered multiplication, division. Demand for a certain electronic component is given by 100 minus 2x producing and selling x components. Write the equations that model total revenue and cost functions of the... Okay, first of all, they're giving you a formula. Okay, this is the type question that you'll see on a standardized test. P of x is equal to negative 2x plus 1,000. I have no idea why people write. This is something I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, books writing 1,000 minus 2x. I've never seen it. Okay? So I'm writing it as negative 2x plus 1,000. What's the first thing you should do when you do a problem like this? Draw what? Draw a picture. Okay, I have no idea. What does it say? Involves a monthly fixed cost, producing and selling X components. Okay, producing and selling. So producing, I'm writing all this down, and selling X components. This is the type of question you're going to see in your accounting. Involves a monthly fixed cost, monthly fixed cost of $19.99 and a production cost of $4 for each component. Production cost of $4 per each component. Okay, I have no idea what this question is asking right now. I'm just looking at it from a mathematical standpoint. What do you do? Well, the first thing you do is you draw a picture. All right? Or take your handy dandy graphing calculator and write 2x or graph 2x. Go ahead and do that in your graphing calculator. Graph negative 2x plus 1. Now you might want to put x is greater than what? Greater than or equal to 0, because you're only worried about what quadrant? First quadrant. So, thank you. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8,000. So that's 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. That's your y-intercept. What kind of slope do you have? Negative slope, so I'm going to just put some dots going like that. And then 2 over what? 2 over 1. So 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. So your actual graph, I don't have a straight edge. I use my dang pen. Your actual graph looks something like that. All right, and I guess this is 1 and this is 2. I have no idea. And this is the cost, monthly fixed cost, P of X. I don't know what they're asking. The question is not that. Oh. Where's my question? There it is. Okay. Well, it kind of would help if they told you to, okay, multiply by x. They didn't really specify that. So you would multiply that by x. So that would be multiply this whole thing by x. And that would give you negative 2 what? X squared plus 1,000 x. Now that changes the whole thing, because now you're going to have what? You're going to have a parabola, and it's going to, the y-intercept is 0, so it's going to look something like this. Oh gosh, I can't stand orange. I hate orange. Ugh. Okay. So it's going to look something like that because the y-intercept is 0. All right. Now it makes sense. All right.
We're not
Monthly
watching your
cost-
hands.
What'd
You
you
know
say?
that, right?
What'd you
We're
say?
not like watching your hands.
What do you say?
Like we can't see what's on the paper.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. I was
I
making
thought
sure
you
you
said
did.
something like washing my hands. I was like, okay, there we go.
No.
All right. The original equation was this. But what they're saying with all that mumbo jumbo is they're saying right here, multiply by x. I'm going to put multiply by x to make a quadratic. That's what they're telling you to do. All right? And that will give you this orange line, something like that. I have no idea what it looks like, but it looks something like that. Now, of course, if you wanted to find out where the x-intercepts are, you set it equal to what? Set y equal to what? 0.
Yeah.
And you could do that. Now, we already know what the y-intercept is because there's the y-intercept right there. But negative 2x squared plus 1000x plus blank, or plus 0, is equal to 0. And negative 2x squared plus 1000x plus blank is equal to 0 plus blank. I'm going to find the vertex. And factor out 2, that'd be 2, and a negative 2, that'd be x squared minus 1,000, or 500, sorry. 500x plus blank is equal to 0 plus negative 2 times blank. And half of 500 is what? 250. 250 squared is some BA number. 250 squared. And 250 squared is right here. And that's going to leave us with negative 2 times x minus 250 quantity squared is equal to, what's 250 raised to the second power? What's 250 squared? Okay, get your calculators out. What's 250 squared?
62,500.
Woo.
That is correct.
6,000. It'd be 6,000, wouldn't it? Or 6.
2,000.
250. 25 times 25 is 625.
Well, get a calculator then.
62,500.
I'm sorry, what?
62,500.
62,500. So that's negative 2 times 62,500. All right. So negative 2 times x minus 250 quantity squared is equal to negative 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3. Check me on that.
That's right.
Okay. So now divide by negative 2. Well, that's our vertex. Our vertex is positive 250, and then positive 125,000. So way up here at 125,000, there's our vertex. Now, they're going to ask you something about where it's going to end, because that means right there that you've hit rock bottom. All right, so you can figure out, so that's going to be, what's 125,000 divided by 2?
1 second.
X minus 250. Hurry up.
62,500.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Duh. Okay,
Yeah.
so x minus 250 quantity squared is equal to 62,500. and then take the square root of that. That should be 250. So that's x minus 250 is equal to positive or negative 250, and negative 250 be positive, so that's going to be 500. So 500 is where you hit rock bottom. Okay? So at 250, you're making your maximum what? You're making your maximum, and at 500, you're making your what? Minimum. And that's what they're asking. I don't know what they're going to ask you on that question. But the whole point is, again, that when you see a question, you know how to take it apart. You know how to take it apart. You know how to put it like right here. That's the main thing. If you can do that, then you pretty much can make it through most of these questions. All right? And we'll get more into this later. We'll start on this question when y'all come back. When? Friday. Okay? So remind me to start on this question. Other than that, y'all have a good day, and I'll stick around if y'all got any questions. Oh, I didn't record that. Did that record?
For your
Yeah, I recorded. Good. Oh.
No.
You should give them like 5 times.
Can't do anything right.
My kid pays good. That was 18.
So annoying.
It works.
I am not annoying, thank you.